Hello everyone, welcome back to the Yum Yum Report, bringing you bite-sized updates from theme parks around Australia, as well as occasional updates from theme parks around the world. Before we start, I'd like to give a special thanks to my channel members, Koala75, Lee Donald, SWStevie1, Randall, Maloney's Coasters, Kerry Jekin, and Medic Brick. Thank you so much. Today's update is from a park here in Australia I'm still yet to visit, Luna Park, Sydney. There's been some very exciting announcements from Luna Park that the iconic Wild Mouse is set to finally reopen on March 14th after a lengthy refurbishment. Luna Park released an updated POV, and it's great to see this heritage attraction up and running again. Although I haven't visited Luna Park Sydney or ridden Wild Mouse yet, I have heard that Wild Mouse is an enjoyable ride, although one thing I've heard repeated is that the turns are so intense it feels like you're gonna be flung into the Sydney Harbour itself. Looking at this footage from 2022 from the awesome Coaster Life YouTube channel, it definitely looks like the ride is looking much sleeker and cleaner with some touch-ups to the paint. Apparently the coaster originally had a blue track, which was rusted and faded over time, so it's great to see them maintaining the original look. Wild Mouse has an interesting history at Luna Park. Originally opening in 1963, according to the Luna Park website. I had a quick read on Coasterpedia, which is a great website if you're interested in the history of iconic attractions such as this. The ride was constructed by park manager at the time Ted Hopkins and Dick Pierce, who visited the 1962 World's Fair and purchased plans for the Wild Mouse, eventually returning and constructing the coaster, which opened in 1963 and became an iconic attraction at the park. It was eventually replaced in 1969 by a larger Wildcat coaster, but many years later in 1995, Luna Park Sydney brought back the Wild Mouse, but the ride closed later that year due to noise complaints caused by the Big Dipper. Luna Park remained closed until 2000 and then reopened for the Sydney Olympic Games, before closing once again in 2001 and remaining closed until 2004 when the park was eventually redeveloped. Lots of closing and reopening going on here. I wasn't familiar with the history of Luna Park Sydney before making this video, so it's very interesting to learn these things. I believe Wild Mouse was closed in 2022 or 2023, and the future of the attraction was uncertain. Many people were concerned that it would be closed permanently or removed from the park entirely, which is always a concern when an iconic attraction such as this mysteriously closes. But in 2024, the entire ride was deconstructed for restoration. So yes, a very complicated history with lots of up and downs, but thankfully Wild Mouse is reopening again very soon. As I said, I've yet to visit Luna Park Sydney, but I'd definitely love to make my way down to Sydney sometime to ride Wild Mouse, as well as many of the other iconic attractions at the park. Of course, when I do eventually visit, I'll film a trip report and share my thoughts with you. But if you have any suggestions or recommendations for a trip to Luna Park Sydney, as well as Sydney as a whole, feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments. I have briefly visited in the past, maybe for a day or two. During my time there, I went to Madame Tussauds, and I also went to the old arcade in Sydney City as well, which was very, very nice. And I also enjoyed Kinokuniya Books, a gigantic bookshop, and I'd love to make it back down there at some point. So yes, if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your ideas, and if any of them stick out to me, I'll make sure to check them out when I'm next down there. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see more updates like this, please feel free to leave a friendly comment, or subscribe for more. I'd like to wrap things up by giving a thank you to the people whose footage you've been watching this whole time. As I mentioned, I haven't been to Luna Park Sydney, so I reached out to some lovely creators on YouTube and other platforms to ask for permission to use their footage, and everyone was so kind and let me use their clips, which is much appreciated. So thank you so much to Maloney's Coasters, Coaster Life, Canobie Coaster, and Luna Park Sydney. I would also like to give a very special thanks once again to my channel members, Koala75, Lee Donald, SWStevie1, Randall, Maloney's Coasters, Kerry Jekin, and Medic Brick. Thank you so much everyone for your very kind and generous support, which helps the channel so much. It's going to help me to continue saving for future equipment and future trips, which will allow me to continue creating high quality theme park content and hopefully making things more interesting, more unique, and more exciting for everybody watching. And for anyone out there who would like to become a channel member, you're more than welcome to do so. This will give you access to videos early, as well as a special shout out and thanks at the end of my videos. And your username on YouTube will also appear with a Yum Yum sticker next to your name, and you also have access to some yum yum emojis that you can use in the comments. But if you're not in a position to support the channel fiscally, you can also leave a like, a friendly comment, or subscribe for more. Thank you so much again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.